Every week in the Premier League, we have one refereeing or officiating controversies. Every single week, you will see a decision that a referee will give this particular decision. Next week, you will see the same decision, a referee will not give it. For example, last week or last 2 weeks against Arsenal versus Brighton, Pedro kicked the ball away. He wasn't issued a yellow card. This weekend, Trossard kicked the ball away and the referee gave him a yellow card. So guys, everybody is talking about referee following the letter to the law. Follow the law the way it's written. But you see controversies everywhere. Referees can decide on their own to give a particular decision, and next week another referee might decide not to even give that decision. So what do you make of this officiating in English Premier League? Do you think that some referees are corrupt or biased to a particular team? Because if you look at last season, Michael Oliver, that actually refereed this particular game, Arsenal versus Manchester City, last year didn't give Kovacic a second yellow card or a red card. When they was asked for the explanation, when Arsenal asked for an explanation, he said that he didn't want to unbalance the game, which didn't make sense to anybody. But this season, he is given a yellow card and issued a red card to unbalance the same game. He decided not to unbalance last season. So what do you make of refereeing decision in EPL?
For me, I think refereeing decision and then the letter, which is the refereeing rule book, which all the referee abide by. The letter is clean. This is what should happen if this happens. But what we see in the game is referees look at the game, they look at the player reactions, and they decide. These are human beings. They have that decision to make, which is, for example, I give you a clear-cut example. Let me say you talked about the Pedro situation 2 weeks back.
Away,
yes, kicking the ball away. The referee overlooked that and continued with the game.
Why?
Now that's why I'm saying that the law, the rule book, is subject to referees' interpretations and subject to the referees' judgments. And for that same referee, you could look at that incident where just as somebody breaks the law and you either decide to say, okay, next time I'm going to book you or whatever, you let the person go, or somebody else flaunts the law and you're like, you're going to go in for it. Both decisions are dependent on the referee's choice.
But look at that's the controversy.
Both the decisions are dependent on the referee's choice. I'm not yet done. Let me give you a categorical example. In the first scenario, Pedro kicked the ball. He didn't get a yellow card. Maybe he got a talking to.
Declan Rice kicked the ball and got a yellow card.
Yes, Declan Rice kicked the ball, got a yellow card. And let me say,
and was sent off in that game.
Sent off. Pedro kicked the yellow card. Referee gave him a talking to or something like that. And the game went on. That's not the same referee as what we saw yesterday, right? What we saw yesterday was the referee blew the whistle. Trossard was angry or whatever, kicked the ball away. That tantrum was what called the yellow card.
He was not angry. That was a split second something.
It wasn't a split second.
Okay, now, because look, I know. You know what? Wait now, John. You just finished talking.
I'm not done.
You just finished.
Where you will know is not.
Meandering just to avoid because wait, the key question was the referee. John, calm down.
From the impact
to the rush to the ball,
the run to kick off was not a split second
decision.
No, it wasn't a split second.
You see all this diving and was so that John could avoid the question of was the referee biased? Because that was the question we're going to ask next. Was the referee biased in his decision making?
He wasn't biased.
Yes, he was biased in
made a decision. Simple.
This ref last game, because like you make a quote, Michael Oliver against Man United's Chelsea. This is not only that match because you're only citing Man City against Arsenal. Against Man City and Chelsea, he had a yellow card that he didn't give out, a penalty he didn't give out. When it comes to Man City, Michael Oliver is biased. Just like you stated before the show or some time ago, there was a time Man United was this ruthless with referees.
With Howard Webb.
Yeah, that year, Man United they win match 1-0, but that 1-0 no they secured. You get? Or where we all points. Whether you just give person a small push like this, or where we all point spots. Even if na outside was a team. That time, thanks to VAR, never did now. Or where go point to the spot. Even if na small touch the person will just fake a move. He will point to the spot. All thanks to our Man United won about 3 or 4 Premier League because I was one that dragged to the deadline 2 weeks of it, and he gave a penalty to Man United and they won the league. thanks to our Webb, they won 2 or 3 Premier League titles. But you see this currently now, this man they do with Man City. Now where would they go now? This man now, Michael Oliver, he they done with Man City. Last match, last year, against Chelsea, a penalty, handball, he didn't give it. 2 times last year against Chelsea and against Tottenham Hotspur, handballs, the same Kovacic where he called, he no give him penalty.
But Kovacic, that season was even too much because
it was obvious. It was last season. People now started digging into him, and they felt like Qatari what's it called, the Abu Dhabi, one agency in Abu Dhabi took him on holiday to officiate a match in Dubai and was paid heavily, only for the investigators to paint him, and the one blackmailer, shout out on blackmail, but they now felt like because of that travel, and they paid him, just like me now as a coach, now you now pay me to go and coach an under 17 side, and you pay me a big fee. If as a coach I carry my boys now come match and I play against that under 17 side, this is I go play well. When I know say this same company now carry me go coach one certain match and they pay me waiting, my club no fit pay me in 10 years. It's I will tell my boys when they play well. I'll give them a fake tactics to play with. And I think that's what he has done for the past 3 years, because I'm not talking about just last season or this match. He's done it for like 3 years in a row now. Penalties against Man City he's not giving. Controversy in this game is not about whether the referees or
I'm not even talking about
generally referees have their own interpretation to rules. But Oliver's own something there inside.
No, I'm not talking about only Oliver. I'm talking about the rules generally now. I understand Oliver's matter. You can talk about Mike Oliver. His own case is different because he looks like he had some.
He get hands inside.
Some probably is leaning towards Manchester City. But generally, what I'm saying is there's a rule book. The rule will say if you steal, you go 1 year in prison, for instance.
Yes.
For an instance.
Yeah.
There's a rule book. Why are they not following this rule book? Because it causes controversies everywhere. If I probably kick the ball away, me, and you talk to me, the next person kicks the ball away and you give him a yellow card, the other opponent, I think it's biased if you ask me. But generally, how will you rate the officiating in English Premier League? Let me start with you, John. Generally, if you look at the officiating in general, because if you look at how many referees from EPL has officiated a World Cup final, I think it's only one. So if you look at the way the officiating is going, if you want to rate generally the officiating of English Premier, do you think that they are actually doing better?
For me, I would say that the number of English referees that referee the World Cup final is inconsequential in this conversation. Because if we were to go by that, how many nations would we need to go around to get to England? Okay. We have over 200 and something.
But you keep having Spanish referees there. Let's say, fine, we don't want to talk about the world.
So
now
let's say
you are going to argue, right? You are going to argue about it's not about being biased. It's about if you do your job right. At some point in the World Cup, at some point in the World Cup, if you remember the last 2 World Cups, I think a Nigerian ref was in it. A Nigerian ref, Ogechukwu somebody was in it. He's a Nigerian ref, but England ref no day. Why? Because of their controversies in the league. It is how you in the CAF Champions League now. They're saying it's just one Nigerian ref in the CAF Champions League so far. That's coming to Africa now, one Nigerian ref, and it was the same person that went to represent Africa in the World Cup. Why is that? It's just one Nigerian ref. If you do your job well, you know what? If you do your job, if you're diligent in your job, if you're diligent in your doings, people will notice you. They will give you the job. Why England ref no fit go World Cup now? Because they don't sabi anything. They bias all of them.
And there are no biased referees in Spain.
The ones that are in Spain, we know say biased.
There are no biased referees in Spain. Answer now. Then that judgment alone is flawed and it's not right.
You know, say you get as you go take look and I go talk say, okay, inside all the 25 biased referees for Spain, at least 2 get sense. You know, they take bribe. They do anything. They do their job.
So you are not saying that referees taking bribe.
I'm not calling them.
It's only bribed referees that show up for Spain in FIFA World Cup. That's what you're insinuating.
No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying,
thank you.
I'm
then
saying
just
the ones
be
they
plain
take
and
bribe.
simple. I disagree.
The ones
you can't come out and say that they look at a full country and they say only 2.
Because those ones have done their job. As in,
was it only 2 Spanish referees that went to the World Cup? It's not.
See, it's example. Do you know there's something that you officiated like 7-10 matches in a season for club and cup competitions in a season, and yet there was no controversial decision making for 7 to 10 matches. You said they keep record.
Okay.
But for England, every week you go do mistake this week, next week you go do another mistake. Every week they do one new mistake.
Okay. Let me ask the general
That's
question.
because you have media coverage now.
Let me
Do
ask
you
you-
have
So
coverage? Do
Spain
you
no
have
get media coverage.
of
And they tell
all
everybody
the
monitor.
errors they have in Spanish
Are you trying to
football?
tell me now that
Yes or no?
the German Bundesliga, the Spanish La Liga, the Italian
How
Serie A
many,
does not have media
how many
coverage?
countries do you have where the media
Don't
firm
leave that
call
in-
out
even
their
in-
referees?
even in-
How
even
many
in-
countries do you have in Europe where the media of that country call out their referees?
Try
It's only
Serie A.
they don't do it in La Liga. They don't do it in Serie A.
Spain, see, come,
I'm telling
come.
you
Make I take
live
it-
and direct. They
make I
don't do
take-
it.
make I take it to Spain. Then they beat ref.
They do not do it.
I don't think they.
Then they
They
attack,
don't do
then
it.
they
I don't
attack,
think
then
they
they beat
beat
ref. Fan base, they beat ref.
They don't
So
do
they
it.
protect themselves.
It's not.
See,
beating-
They don't do it.
beating-
No, I know
beating
it talks. I know
somebody
it talks.
is
Say
not
beat.
really-
If you beat them, if you beat them, if you attack them like physically, you go to jail.
What I'm saying
You
that
get wait
if,
now. See, no. If
if
you attack a referee physically, if you attack a match officiator physically, you go to jail. No, be nearly sentence. But you have a right to speak. And whenever there is these controversies, it comes out in the media.
How many articles?
And it's not as much.
How many
It's because
articles do you see
I
from La Liga
I could quote you for
on
you.
officiating controversies? How many do you see within a calendar year?
See, Maka.
How many do
Wait
you see now
I'm
within
saying-
a calendar
I'm
year
saying, Maka,
vis-a-vis what is happening in England? The general perception is that English referees are incompetent, and whoever is picking referee
but
for
they
the
also-
World Cup
but they also
reduces
have-
the
do you know they
pot
also have
pick
what they
from.
call match monitors? You get? They have much. So there are some people that FIFA used to send to stadium to go and monitor what's happening around there. So don't tell me that because it's not in the media, people
Okay.
are also being sent to
not in-
monitor.
it's not in the
FIFA.
media.
Let me
And
Simple
ask-
and
UEFA
short.
in
Okay,
general.
let me ask the final question. If when it comes to English Premier League refereeing or officiating, do you think the referee should follow the law to the letter, or they should just feel when I feel like giving a look at, I give a yellow
See,
card?
It's just like you said earlier. If I thief and you catch me, you know it's not jail. But it gets the T&C wey apply to me thieving. I dey hungry now, I can't go thief bread. You go pity me, no give me that jail. You go say, okay, chop the bread. But next time, no, if you dey hungry, tell person say you dey hungry. You understand? But if I carry gun, go
Then
jump for junction.
Oliver exercises his right to discretion.
You
Simple.
understand? If I carry gun,
If that's what you're
But
saying,
see, but
Oliver
see,
exercises his right to
yeah,
discretion. Simple and short.
wait.
That's the problem.
No.
Simple and
See,
short.
you know what?
So what are we not saying?
No,
Simple and short.
you know where they pain me. You know where they pain me. And I know that say a viewer's discretion.
Thank you.
Is this thing. I know that's
Case
that one.
closed.
But when it don't happen back
Cut.
to back, you get when I go. If I thief bread this week, you let me go. I thief bread next week, you let me go. You know, go say something that happen inside. Next time, if I
simple and
thief bread
short.
again next time, you go ask me.
Referees
other bread.
discretion.
You go
Simple
ask me
and short.
if I thief bread next time, the fourth time, you go ask me other bread and I'll bag it. You
Referees
understand?
discretion.
But,
Simple
see, scrap that
and
last part. I
short.
just meant if you steal the bread on a regular, they'll ask you, are you sure you are not obsessed with bread and take it to a psychiatrist? Which is that psychiatrist waiting. Now, equal to prison.
After how many times?
After like 2 times. But now, this one, you don't know, 3 straight years,
That's what I'm
6
not
straight
saying.
matches.
Excuse me, you are using the context of the referee being the one stealing. I'm using the context.
No, I'm not using the context of the referee.
That's
stealing.
what you are.
I'm using the
that's
context.
con-
I'm using
the context of the player. The player in question, how many times?
Okay,
I'm
so
using the context of the
it's
referee making the
referee's
same
discretion.
mistake. This referee has
simple.
made this same error.
It's not
He
an
should
error.
have-
Referee's
He
discretion,
should be
simple and short.
asked a question. It's just what I'm saying.
unfortunately, especially in English Premier League, you don't question the referees. If you question a referee, you get a match ban for probably if a
3
coach
matches.
if a coach actually question a referee or say anything bad about the officiating, you get a match ban. So, but there are a whole lot of controversies in England, especially in England. That's where the media coverage is too much. Everybody is seeing that game, seeing what is happening. Fans are complaining that why can't you give a decision and this will give you the same decision? Why there's always something to the referee is always getting wrong in English Premier League? But it is what it is. Just like I said in the beginning of this show, Arsenal, the officiating about the Arsenal game last season, the same referee decided not to send off a player because he didn't want to unbalance the game. The same referee gave a red card in this game. So all of these controversies, we are going to see what is happening, if they are going to improve. But I think if there is a law in the Premier League, every referee should follow the law to its letter, full stop. If kicking the ball away is a yellow card, everybody should get a yellow card so that it will be fair to everybody. Because one of the highlights or one of the main words of FIFA is fair play. Everybody wants fair play.